What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Eclectic Beard. So this go around, we'll be taking a look at, I know it's more TikTok, but I'm gonna be honest with you, reacting for over 3 years, the last week and a half's worth of content that I've been able to take and put out, most of it being TikTok. The only thing that did not get claimed was TikTok. So, still got some open all hours going to be coming out, and still got some rising damp, but I'm finding these not only entertaining, but somewhat depressive, some of it, only because it's hard to think my fellow countrymen kind of say or do or ask the kind of stuff they've said and asked, and it's also kind of depressing to take and see kind of in the comments, and it's not so much. It's been kind of depressive to take and see, number one, like with the "Tell Me You Work in America Without Telling Me" video, and just the amount of comments going, "Oh my God, I can't believe that's," and just know that our standard as far as work is concerned and how people are treated in this country is so much lower just by reading my own comments section. Like, that's not only, I know things here aren't perfect. Nowhere in the world is perfect, but for UK, Sweden, I had comments from Sweden, Finland, Denmark, just Portugal, Spain, like all over wow, we're horrible apparently. And to take and just see it reconfirmed in such a way that it's like, man, we have a lot more to take and work on, than what I even thought. just read through my comment section. And granted, I do love my country. So that's one of the things I hope going forward, folks do kind of realize I do love my country. However, and I think everybody should love their country. You might not like the government. You might not like policy. You might not like how treatment of citizens are. But the country itself that you're in, that you're born in, that you live in, is people that take and make up the country more than the government. The government's just what you have to take and deal with, right? So, and we got some idiots here. Like, there's no two ways about it. And because there's so many of us, unfortunately, the idiots, they seem to find their way all over the internet. Before the internet, they put them all on TV during natural disasters like tornadoes, because they didn't find the businessmen whose house had just been blown away. No. They found Meemaw and Peepaw. They had 4 chicken coops, 3 pens for the cows, and a horse stable and stuff like that. Basically, they went to the farm, more rural areas where I've got to draw, but they talk a little bit more like this. Like, that's who they find to put on TV. So before, it was just kind of regionalized. Or, you only seen that stuff here in America because, well, national news, if it was a bad enough natural disaster, and you'd be like, oh, why they put them on? Now anybody can get online. And you're just like, So we get that. We got a whole lot of people here, invention of internet and everything like that. The stupidity is on full display for everybody to see. You don't have to live in Florida anymore to take and see it in the everyday life. Just saying. So, this right here, though, why America is not the greatest country. And I think the qualifier of greatest country, we've been conditioned as Americans to take and believe that we live in basically a fucking utopia. And that's not the case. It's not the case at all. We're the greatest country to ever exist. And, bro, we might have done some good stuff here and there. But greatest country, especially with the way things have been going for the last, 60, 70 years, is a grand stretch of the imagination by any means of that term. So if you hear the beginnings of a door opening and a jump cut, my kid come in asking about toilet paper. So yeah, but yeah, it's a stretch of that concept in the broadest sense of term, like in the broadest way possible. Because how do you qualify what's the greatest country in the world? What are the qualifications to take and meet that? And while every country has good in it, every country has bad in it. The way we're conditioned here in America to believe, oh, we live in the greatest country to ever exist. you start searching around, you're like, not so much. So we're going to take a look and we're going to see what these have to say. And yeah.
Y'all, what the fuck? Y'all can take your kids to Galactic Toys, drop them off at Kid to Kid, and then go next door and buy yourself an AK-47. The land of the free and the home of the...
Well, I mean, in the gun store's defense, you know, if what everybody's talking about having armed security and everything, the company that provides the armed security doesn't have to take and go far to take and get the weapons for the armed guards. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
This wall can't be climbed. This is very, very hard. Plus, it's designed to absorb.
Bro, yes. Oh my God. That, oh God, that right there. I remember him taking and saying that and seeing the wall, and I'm like, they got iron workers over there too, right? Just saying.
Heat. So it's extremely hot. The wall is, you won't be able to touch it. You can fry an egg on that wall. So it's a very, very hard thing to climb.
Very, very hard thing to climb. But it ain't slowed him down one bit, did it?
Wait 1 second. If I had to describe Americans in one clip of this.
Wow. Like, I don't understand the whole I'm being raped thing after being hit with a baseball, but I don't think that reaction is quite appropriate neither. Like, you get hit with a baseball that's been hit off the end of a bat, what causes things like that's stuff like that has fractured skulls before. They cause concussions. People say all kind of dumb stuff. So I will take and be like, maybe pump the brakes on that one, just because you know, no telling what happened in that instance. That's a scary thing, because baseballs, they don't feel good when you get hit with them in the head.
America.
What's something that's clearly a scam, but Americans have been conditioned to believe is normal?
They think the United States is like the best country in the world. You guys are like miserable. You don't get paid vacations. You get in debt to study. You have to pay to go to the doctor. Guns, just guns. Your prison system sucks. Metal.
Well, the prison system is for profit, like everything else in this country, so might be part of the problem. Not only that, with all the laws that take and disproportionately affect poor people and minorities, well, they've got a full assortment to take and pull from. Just saying.
Just guns. Your prison system sucks. Metal detectors at school. Like, not that you have that, but that you need that. Just everything in general. And you call yourself Americans.
Well, I think that's one of the things where we take and go, oh, we live in a free society, and some of these issues, it makes it not quite as free as what we think over here. Like, most folk, they don't realize, like, that's not a sign of freedom, homie. That's a sign of there's some messed up stuff that needs to be worked on, like, completely. Metal detectors in schools, like, yeah, that's not copacetic. There's no two ways about that. So.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
So I started my new job in the Netherlands. This was 3 years ago, and I was going through the company policy the first week. And I got to the section about leave, and they have a holiday leave, like PTO, and then they had sick leave in two different areas. And I was reading about sick leave, and I turned to my coworker, and I was like, I don't understand. Like, it talks about, like, the requirements for sick leave and, like, doctor notes, like, after 3 days, but how many sick days do we get a year? And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, how many are there? It doesn't say. She's like, it's just, if you're sick, you're out. I'm like, I don't understand. She's like, it's unlimited. It's just, if you're sick, you take a sick day.
See, that's something that's completely foreign to our brains here in America, because you get there's some companies don't even have sick days. Like they'll allow you to take and bring a doctor's note, but if that happens one too many times, and like let's say you take and get the flu and you're out 3 or 4 days, you bring a doctor's note. All right, that might be cool at that point in time, but let's say for whatever reason you have people that live in your house with you and somebody else gets the flu, and for whatever reason and they've got a different strain, and you wind up with that strain, and you go down, even if it's for not as long. Well, you take and go out. Well, they're liable to fire you, even doctor's note or not. Like, it doesn't matter. So, and there are companies where you do have sick days. They'll take and be like, oh yeah, you get 5, 6 sick days, 10 sick days, however many, 15 sick days a year. But the thing is like, it forces people to feel like, all right, I need to take this medicine, this medicine, this medicine, so it controls the symptoms. It doesn't mean that you're not going to take and be, able to spread anything, which I don't understand companies. Like, it should be where if you're sick, go to doctor, make sure you get the note, or whatever. Even if, I don't even think that should be, depends on what you say you've got. There we go. I'll put it like that. Because people be tripping around here. But it makes more sense to be like, all right, if you're sick, stay home. And there not be any repercussions, because why would you want somebody to basically dope themselves up with medicine to take and suppress the symptoms, but it doesn't take away the virility of it. And and 3 or 4 more people in your company get sick because that person come to work because they felt the need to take and come to work because of your policy, and they got more people sick, and now more people are at risk because that one employee, because of your own policy. Like, I don't understand the whole concept of stuff, and I understood it less before I left the workforce. Before I started to make money for myself, that I never understood that, because I was like, that you can get more than one person sick, and you're going to have less of a workforce. It's going to put more strain on the employees that are still there at your job. Why not be like, look, if you don't feel good, don't come in. Like, there's no repercussions on this.
She was confused. I was shocked. There's a moment I realized we're fucked up in America on how we deal with people being sick with work.
The U.S. healthcare system is insane. I just want to start this off by saying that I have really good insurance under my parents' names. And I had to go to the ER in November for a cluster headache that was...
This is one of the things that's kind of pissed me off too with our system, because she's clearly old enough to take and have her own, but because the price of stuff, she's able to be carried by her parent. Here you can be carried on your parents' insurance for like $25. Why not just see? This is the problem with our healthcare system. Like, everybody should have access to healthcare without having to be covered by somebody else. It's just, it's so stupid.
I was on day 2 that would not cease after migraine medication, everything that I could take and think of. So I had to go to the ER to make the pain stop, because I literally couldn't do anything without shooting pain. Anyways, for the one visit, $34,000. $28,000 is not covered.
Welcome to America.
My mom goes, well, when you go to the ER, did you check that they were in network? And I said, it's the same building where I go to my other doctors. I figured it would be in network. She goes, no, Lindsay, sometimes if the ER doctors are not in network, you have to check for the individual doctors. I'm like, Mom, it's the ER. You think I don't check that before I go? I just...
Bro, that's fucking hell, dude. Welcome to medical debt. Welcome to the United States, where even insurance doesn't mean that you're not fucked. Oh, that fucking just... God, that irks my fucking nerve, man. That's... Were they in network? Fuck if they're in network. Insurance. Insurance means in case shit happens. Shit happened. She needed the insurance. That shouldn't have costed that. That's freaking insane, dude. Oh my God. Like, holy hell.
What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
There's a lot. This might have to be a series, but here's the first one that comes to mind. It's really two things in one. One night in mid-November, I woke up. I was having really bad chest pains, and I was like cold sweating and everything, all the symptoms of a heart attack. And I was sitting there in my bathroom like, should I call 112 for an ambulance? It's going to be so expensive. There was a moment I literally thought about riding my bicycle to the hospital because it's about a 10-minute bicycle ride away from my apartment. I called the ambulance in the end. It was completely covered by my insurance. After I had the heart attack in the hospital, it was around 5 or 6 in the morning when I woke up. And I remember the first thing I thought was, I need to get my phone. I have to tell my boss I can't come into work today. I mean, the first thing wasn't like calling my mom. It was literally calling my work because I didn't want to get fired. I wasn't going to...
Yeah, that. Wow. Bro, sometimes watching this stuff, my mind is just blown because you don't realize how bad some of this stuff is until you see stuff like this. And it's like, that's insanely fucked up, but it's something that millions of people here in this country have to take and worry about. I had a heart attack, but you didn't take and call in. You're fired. Like, that actually fucking happens. And the fact that this man, that's his first thought instead of calling your parents and stuff like that, let them know what's going on because you're in a different country. He's worried about employment and make sure that he doesn't get fired.
going to get fired in the Netherlands for that.
I'm kind of curious. What is the dumbest thing an American has ever
I see this is stitching together quite a few different compilations. All right, cool.
said to you?
When I was in high school, I was asked, what language do you speak in England?
I'm kind of curious. What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
Well, I remember visiting Warner Brothers, and our tour guide, in the beginning of the tour, he asked us where we all were from, and I told him that I was from Turkey. And every single time he would show something or tell us something, he would always say, well, you probably don't have that in Turkey. And I had to correct him every single time. It would be highways, but you probably don't have that in Turkey.
Bro, that kind of assumption, like, even third world countries have highways, like, I don't understand the whole mindset that folks have here that we're the only developed nation really in the world. Because it seems like there's a whole lot of people that's their thought process. We're the only developed nation in the world. Well, that's a highway. You probably don't have that. Where Turkey is not. It's not Antarctica. Just throwing that out there. Like it's not Antarctica. Like it's they've got infrastructure. Hell, they've had advanced civilizations there before the U.S. was even a country. So I'm pretty sure they've had the highway concept down for quite a while.
Dumpsters, you probably don't have that in Turkey.
Dumpsters?
Stray cats, you probably don't have that in Turkey. Netflix, you probably don't have that in Turkey. Ellen Show, you probably don't have that in Turkey, and stuff like that. Like, where do you think I'm from? What do you think is here? A desert? Do you think we're riding camels? Like, I don't know.
I'm kind of curious. What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
So, before having an American driver's license, I only had my Danish one, and I had to use that at a store, at a Walmart. And the cashier looks at my Danish driver's license, and she goes, "Oh, where are you from?" And me, I tell her, "Oh, I'm from Denmark." And she says, "Oh, where's that?" And I say, "It's in Scandinavia." And she goes,
You should have just said Europe. Because, number one, they got confused with Denmark. They asked where that's... It's Walmart. It's not like... It's not a highfalutin store. Like, it's not somewhere where the folks are real intelligent, for the most part, that work there. Especially depending on where it's at. Like, some places, you got folks that are working there, and it's maybe a second job, or something like that. Then you take and follow up with Scandinavia. Yeah, you're really going to confuse them at that point.
Oh, where's that? And I tell her, that's in Europe. And she goes, oh, so in Canada. I did not know how to respond to that.
I'm kind of curious. What is the dumbest?
Canada? Europe's on the other side of the globe. It's a continent in of it unto itself. Like, what? Canada? Oh my God, dude! Like, really, this is ugh.
Dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
So when I was in Savannah, Georgia in 2015...
I don't want to hear this one. Ugh.
I met a guy in a bar from Cleveland, Ohio. And after a short conversation, he asked me where I was from. So I said, oh, I'm Welsh, but I live in London, England, UK. And he was like, oh, wow. Your English is really good for someone that isn't American. No, sorry. I live in England. My first language, English. He was like, yeah, I know where England is, but your English is fantastic. How did you learn it so well? I'm like, well, in England, they speak English. That's kind of where the word English comes from.
I said, I don't think that he's good for you. How do you know what's good for me? That's my opinion! Don't you get it? Why can't anybody have an opinion but you?
So, there we have it. Some of this, it didn't quite, like, I get what they're trying to do with the compilation. Some of it, like, really showed really just how horrible some stuff is here. Some of it, well, I mean, I guess the dumb stuff, it goes to the education system, which really isn't that great. Like, we take and say, you know, that a lot of Americans think that we're the smartest, but problem is our education system says differently. Like that first one, that lady, for me, it's one of those things where, like, yeah, that's not a good place for a gun shop whatsoever. Whatsoever. But like at this point, I don't know why you're surprised by it. You know, that's just the way things are here, unfortunately. Like, it's just another example of, like, maybe they should have thought this out just a little bit better. Maybe they should have thought it out just a wee bit better on placement. So, but yeah, metal detectors in schools, it's not copacetic. The whole, insurance and sick leave. Yeah, we've got a whole lot of stuff that needs to be improved here in the U.S., to say the least. I think maybe the number one thing, like, probably the education system. Outside of the healthcare is maybe the education system. Everybody, I can hear everybody now in the comments, the guns! Look, that's going to have to wind up being overtime process, but that's through education. So, kind of ties in together. There we have it. Y'all be good to each other. Love yourselves.